good, the bad, and the odd. They do go on.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd with your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, so we're continuing the Disney sort of run. I think it's like 18th or 19th Disney film we're discussing, maybe even 20th, I'm not sure. And it's Peter Pan from 1953. Before we get into that, I just want to mention, as the problems with the website, we're now back on. There are still a few issues with the website, but it's basically functioning. However, I just wanted to say our standard email has changed. So we're no longer at info@thegoodthebadandtheodd.com, that long one. We are at info@goodbadodd.com. So it's a bit shorter. And that'll be in the show notes anyway from now on. I've still got a few things I'm trying to sort out. However, to mark this change of sort of website and stuff, listeners may have noticed we've got a different theme tune playing here, and that is our new theme tune. I think I'm going to re-edit. Still use the old one, but I'm going to change up the comfy chair play-ins to use that. So at least the original is still. I mean, we've used that since episode 1, right?
Yeah.
Since episode 1, so we're on into 1140 something now, right?
Yeah.
So it's been consistently used throughout, but I thought it was time for a bit of a change. Also, it's a bit dirgy. And it's a bit downbeat, so I wanted something a little more joyful. So I did spend the time to compose this. I did a first version, which I sent to you, and you like immediately said that sounds like Wipeout, and it did sound like Wipeout.
So was it 3 people you sent it to that said that's
they all said it sounded like Wipeout. So it's like Becky, who I used to podcast with on the Twin Peaks log, and the X-Files, for example. She also immediately said, this sounds like Wipeout, separate from you, so I knew I was onto a loser there. So I redid it. It's same instrumentation, same beat, just different tune, so it doesn't sound like Wipeout, right? So that's going to be a thing from now on. Right, so Peter Pan, 1953. I'm trying to remember what the last one was. It
That's one.
Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland. A terrific film. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed this. I mean, man, it really popped for me. How did you feel about it watching it?
I really enjoyed it. I was kind of surprised how much I enjoyed it, because I kind of just had it in my head that this was fairly stock Disney thing.
Yeah, but it just had some wonderful. It just looked great, right? And it never stopped moving. There's no downtime in this one, right? It just moves from story to story to story. One thing to discuss right off the bat, though, of course, is the sort of representation of Native Americans in this. It's troublesome. They're caricatures and can be seen as racist, and a lot of people do see them that way. So that is an issue. Interestingly, I was looking on Wikipedia about this, and it did say Disney, because of some of the issues, Disney Plus actually rated this as a 7+. Not on UK Disney. It's a 0+. You know, it's any age.
Yeah.
But I believe in the American Disney Plus, it's rated as 7+. I think they want the children to be a little older, so the issues, some of the issues might, their parents have the opportunity to discuss it with them. So there are issues with this, as there are in a lot of American films from the 50s, westerns in particular, obviously westerns in particular. And they were making fun of certain things, and it's kind of joyful, but
they have a racist song called "What Makes the Red Man Red."
Things like that.
Which, from what I remember reading somewhere, that they've basically got a different song with the same sort of instrumentation called "What Makes the Brave Man Brave." Instead,
is that
now,
a different? Oh, instead,
not in like a different cut of the film. It's like they don't do What Makes the Red Man Red.
They don't do that song in compilations.
Maybe the Parks, I guess. But I can't remember exactly where it was I read it.
I did have one surprise in it. I haven't watched this film in decades, right? I did have one surprise. I thought I distinctly remembered the tune "Never Smile at a Crocodile." You know, the music that plays when the
Yes.
crocodile.
Well, the theme is
I
still in
thought
there.
the music. I thought the words. I thought that was sung somewhere in the film, and it
That's a
isn't, is it?
no, that's a cut song from this.
Oh, is it a
But the,
cut
the
song?
song does exist, and it
Yes.
is it
Oh,
is
yeah.
was
I
written
know the
for this
song. I
film.
know the lyrics and
Yeah,
everything. So,
yeah.
um,
But that is deliberate. The crocodile, when it shows up, it plays "Never Smile at a Crocodile"
yeah.
because
What?
that's the
And
crocodile's
it's a
theme.
great
So,
fun song. The crocodile. I mean, all right, the film's called Peter Pan, but it is Captain
yeah,
Hook is the star, isn't he?
yeah,
Really? Um, in many
yeah,
respects, Peter Pan's the least one of the lesser
yeah,
characters because Tinkerbell's even got more presence than Peter Pan. I don't know.
yeah.
Uh,
Captain Hook drives the plot, whereas
yeah,
Peter Pan kind of stumbles through it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I also just want to mention I spotted one odd connection between this and Jungle Book, and that is
yeah,
the narrator of this film. It opens with a narration, right?
yeah.
Um, and it's by an actor called Tom Conway.
Mm.
Tom Conway's the older brother of George Sanders. George Sanders is the voice of Shere Khan in Jungle Book.
Okay.
That wonderful voice, right?
Yeah.
Tom Conway, his brother, talks in a similar but not quite as rich as George
It
Sanders.
opens with a somewhat spooky line of dialogue where it just says like, "This has happened before and it will
Will
happen
happen
again."
again, which is from
Like what on
that's
earth
from
does that?
Battlestar Galactica. They nicked that and put it in Battlestar Galactica. How about that?
Yeah.
That is a refrain in Battlestar Galactica.
Hmm.
The rebooted series. How about that?
Hmm.
Now there were some complaints when it came out at the time that it wasn't very much like the play, but we
Yeah.
don't know the play, so who cares as far as we're
No.
concerned. But yes, so
And I don't think it's unfair to say that this has kind of replaced the play in pop culture.
yeah, as
If someone
the de
thinks of
facto
Tinkerbell,
standard.
it's this Tinkerbell.
Think
Or
about.
Peter Pan, it's this Peter
Yeah.
Pan.
Another thing that's a little thing, I mean, it's not a major thing that surprised me, is I always thought of Tinkerbell as a fairy, right?
Hmm.
They never call her a fairy, they call her a pixie all the
Yeah.
way through it, right? She's never referred to as a fairy, which is kind of interesting because she looks like a
Is
fairy.
distinctly a fairy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, let's get into that plot a bit.
Hmm.
So, Edwardian, set in Edwardian London, turn of the century, 1904. And we have George and Mary Darlings. They're getting ready for a party and they're going to leave the children in the house alone because, yeah, that's what they did
Yeah.
back then. And there's also an older, Wendy is an older and sensible sort of child.
Yeah, but she's still only like 10,
Yes,
maybe.
yes.
So
Oh, I thought she was more like 12. But they've also got Nana the dog
Yeah.
as the nursemaid, which the father really doesn't like.
the father doesn't really like anything, let's be frank.
He's not that bad. He's not really terror. He's not like as bad as say
Some versions
the
of this
father
character.
in
So,
Mary Poppins. You know, really
yes.
strict. He's not that bad. He just
No.
complains a bit. And
Yeah.
the wife's okay, George, and all this, and they're called the Darlings. So you know, Wendy Darling is a name. It's not a term of affection. It's an actual name. So basically, we get so there's John and Michael. John is the older one with glasses. Michael's the
Yeah.
I don't know 4 or 5 year old.
Yeah,
and then
he's
we
still
have
in like toddler
sister.
pajamas
Yes.
sort of thing.
And they're kind of obsessed with the stories of Peter Pan, which Wendy has made up, it would appear.
Possibly, but they
Yeah.
do say again early on. They say that Mrs. Darling also sort of believes in Peter Pan as
Yes.
a spirit of childhood.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's kind of interesting that Wendy does sort of come up with these stories.
Yeah,
George is kind of annoyed about the fact that these stories are kind of derailing everyone's growth, as it were. Basically, he's looking for a shirt collar, a starched shirt collar, and they've drawn a pirate map on it. But they say it's chalk, it's fine. It just does wipe off, so that's fine.
yeah,
And Wendy does say, "Oh yeah, I found Peter Pan's been here.
yeah.
I found his
Carefully talks as
shadow.
I found
I
his
put his shadow
yeah.
away." And the mother's a little. Is there someone strange coming in
Yeah.
the nursery? Basically, the three kids all are in one room, the nursery, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things the dad George says is, "Time to have your own room, young lady."
Mm,
All three kids are kind of shocked at the thought of this, right?
mm,
So she's, and it's all about you're gonna have to grow up. And
mm.
he even drags out Nana. I like the whole shenanigans with Nana being concerned about the spelling blocks. Um,
Yeah.
and the dad keep knocking him over. And she even corrects some of the letters, doesn't she? There's a instead
Yeah.
of ABC, it says BAC, so the dog changes it to AB. Dog can
Yeah.
read. The dog can read.
Yeah. Well, the dog can prepare medicine for them as well.
Yeah, and
So
make a bed.
yeah,
And all
which
sorts.
they very rapidly destroy again. So
Yes, yeah. No, Nana is quite a fun kind of character,
mm,
but the father drags out Nana and chains her up in the yard. He apologizes though. He's not like a beastly.
yeah.
He's saying, "I'm sorry, Nana. This is just you can't. You're not a nurse maid. You're a dog. You got to."
Yeah.
Stay. But he's quite apologetic. Anyway, they then go off to the opera or the show or whatever they
Mm.
go into. Um,
I think it's a party because he says he can't show his face at work if he doesn't go.
Oh, okay, it's a
So
party. Yeah,
a
yeah,
big social event sort of
yeah.
thing.
So then we do see Peter on the rooftop as they're
Yeah.
leaving,
And
don't
quite a
we?
menacing shot.
Yeah,
Like
it's a silhouette, isn't it? If I remember
it's
rightly.
it's his face gets illuminated, but he has he's got like a sort of masked look about him. Like
Peter,
his eyes are hidden in shadows, and you can just see this big grin.
Peter Pan is kind of. He's not a very sympathetic character in that he doesn't sympathize with people, right? He just wants
Mm.
stuff to happen and have fun, right? That's what he
Yeah.
wants. And he's kind of very impetuous. He's a bit of an id monster, really. He
Yes.
doesn't think anything through. He
It's
just
just pure
let's go do
impulse.
this. Let's go do
So,
that, right? And all that kind of thing.
mm.
It's weird. I often wondered sometimes with the book William Golding's Lord of the Flies. Some of the characters in that are a bit like Peter Pan in that they just do stuff they want to
Mm.
do, and the consequences be hanged kind of thing.
Mm.
And I feel like that taking that to the extreme is what William Golding did in Lord of the Flies. It's kind of interesting,
Mm.
and that's also on an island. And they all think
Yeah.
they're going to have fun and pretend to be pirates and all that sort of stuff. Um, so, but then Peter does turn up and come into the nursery, and he is looking for his shadow. Tinkerbell's with him as well,
Mm.
and there's some shenanigans with Tinkerbell, who there's a comedy
They
bit where she suddenly realizes how wide her ass is, and
yeah.
she's quite annoyed about it. She's standing on
think
like a mirror and look at
Yeah.
herself and
I
plays with
think a
herself.
lot of I think a lot of this section was ad-libbing from the reference sort of model that they had.
Oh, okay.
So
They did
they just kind
boast.
of had her mince with a set of big like or desktop ornaments,
Yes.
just so that they could have an animation reference. This is not uncommon. All of
Yeah.
the kid voice actors were also the animation references for their
Okay.
characters.
Okay,
Um,
that's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, I know she was the actress Tinkerbell was like a trained ballet dancer, so she
Right.
like that explains a lot of her movements, sort of thing.
Yeah,
But
there is
it's also
interesting.
just very funny if that was improv. So
I did. Yeah, it was great. I did notice that sometimes some of the characters looked a bit rotoscoped and some didn't. Cook. Hook never looked rotoscoped, but say I don't know.
mm,
Wendy sometimes did.
yeah,
Um, Tiger Lily sometimes did, and things like that,
yeah.
right? But the Lost Boys didn't. They just look like
No,
comedy.
The Lost Boys weirded me out. Like there was that one that
They
kind of
felt like
sounded like someone sort of shouting, but trying to do a voice crack at the same time.
yeah, I know the one you mean.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was just like,
Um,
what the
I
fuck
felt
is
like
going
some of
on
their
here?
characters were a callback to Pinocchio. Actually,
Possibly.
some of the
Yeah.
characters in Pinocchio. Um, she basically that Peter turns up and he's trying to reconnect his shadow to his feet. He finds his shadow, and there's a lot of him chasing his own shadow, catching it, and then he's rubbing soap on the soles of his feet to try and and
Yeah, to
Wendy's
try
like,
and get
no,
it
that won't
sticky.
work. You've got to sew it on and all this. And indeed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tinkerbell kind of gets stuck in a drawer. And
Mm.
the more friendly Wendy and Peter get, the angrier
Yeah,
Tinkerbell
the
gets.
more frantic she is to get out
Yeah,
of the
and she's
drawer.
trying to like use a pair of scissors to leverage her way out and things like
Mm.
that. And at one point she gets annoyed because she comes out the keyhole, but the wideness of her hips or
Yeah,
bottom or whatever stops her,
stops her
which
from looking
really
further.
annoys her again.
Yeah.
So there's lots of kind of fun around that. Um,
Mm.
I want to talk about other versions of Peter Pan once we've discussed this film. So I
Mm.
think we might revisit some of the themes and
We can do it like as the scenes go past if you.
okay. Well, I was thinking, the two films I was thinking of, and I've never, I can't remember if I've ever seen Hook, right? But
Mm.
I've seen bits of it. I know enough about Hook to know Dustin Hoffman does a pretty good Captain Hook, right?
Yeah.
Um, and also Bob Hoskins is Smee, right? Which is awesome.
Yeah. He's
And
great as me.
was it Julia Roberts was Tinkerbell? Or am I
I
dreaming?
think so.
Yeah. See, I often think of the fairy in Legend when comparing it to Tinkerbell because she is kind of fearsome and angry, right?
Mm.
I feel like they were referencing Tinkerbell, just made her even, stronger in that
More
vein.
Aggie, yeah.
Yeah, more Aggie. And there's also a really, I mean, I haven't seen all the versions of Peter Pan, but I do like the more recent one. I say recent, it's 2003 or something like
Yeah.
that, with Jason Isaacs. I think that's a
Yeah.
really good, fun version of the story. And he is a great Captain Hook too, right?
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm not sure I've got much more to say about the other
Mm.
films, unless you want to bring something. But like I say, I can't remember actually ever seeing Hook, other than I
Yeah.
appreciate. Yeah, Hook's the main character. It's not Peter Pan. It's Hook, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I also like the fact, and this was a tradition in the play, that the father's voice, the actor voicing the father, is also voicing Captain Hook,
Mm.
and that was common in the play. The father would usually become Captain Hook in the play versions, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of
Yeah.
has
The
a
actor's doing
nice
something for the rest of
psychological
it.
aspect to all this, right?
Yeah, that raises a lot of questions of what Wendy thinks of her father.
Well, possibly, but I was thinking it kind of feels like a nod, or maybe it's the other way around. Wizard of Oz, where
Mm.
she's people she knows have become the lion and the Tin Man and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wondered if that it's thinking about the way round it was because Peter Pan came first, right? The play was very popular. So were they referencing the fact that Captain Hook is, also one of the other characters in
Mm.
Wizard of Oz? So we get the pirate ship. These pirates are great. I mean,
Yeah.
Cook is. I keep calling Cook. Hook is really, really good. He's trying to
Yeah.
think, and there's some bloke singing a song about a pirate's life is
Yeah.
short, and Hook just shoots
Well,
him.
they're all singing at the start, and then yeah, Hook's trying to think of a plan about Peter Pan,
Yeah,
and yeah, some pirates in the crow's nest is singing, and bam, and so he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, cutting off a man in the middle of his cadenza, it ain't proper, Captain."
Smee's very funny.
Yeah.
And
Well, he's smiling, by the way, so Smee is fully okay with this. He's just making jokes about it.
yeah, and we do find out that Captain Hook lost his hand to Peter Pan, who fed it to a crocodile,
Yeah,
and also an alarm clock or a clock.
yeah,
So, and this crocodile now has a taste for Captain Hook, right?
yeah,
And follows him around, and you can he's around when you can hear the clock ticking, and
yeah. The
that's
tick-tock, which gives
yeah,
the
and that
crocodile his name.
yeah, that is amazing. The
Mm.
crocodile steals a lot of the scenes from it as well. They animate that crocodile really
Yeah.
funnily. It's great. It's great. In a way, it almost feels like they're kind of doing Looney Tunes kind of stuff with the crocodile,
Well,
but in a
yeah,
Disney
it
way.
does end up doing. They do end up doing a lot of like very like cartoony stuff with him because
Yes.
there's the bit where at the very end of the film, spoilers for this 70-year-old film, but the crocodile kind of gets him. But he like run Hook is running on the water for some reason, runs into the crocodile's mouth all the way to its tail, bounces off the end of its tail,
Comes
and
out with a
comes
clock.
out with the clock.
and then throws the clock back, and it goes
Yeah.
off and disorientates the crocodile. But I mean, the crocodile almost gets him when in an earlier fight between Pan and Hook, rescuing Tiger Lily as well. He kind of goes in the crocodile and runs out again
Yeah.
several times, right? Which is a bit Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, or I don't know, Tom and Jerry. Yeah.
Mm.
So Hook hates Peter Pan because he cut his hand off, right?
Yeah. And
Um,
the rest of the pirates are not happy that they're sticking around because of Hook's revenge plan. Like Smee,
yes.
the introduction to the rest of the pirates is really them singing their song and then Smee going, "The crew's getting really restless about us staying here. We want to go back to like Spain and raid the coast."
Wherever, yeah.
So
They want to go do some other stuff, and Hook's kind of obsessed with Pan, but he doesn't know where he's located. That's his trouble. He doesn't know how to capture Pan. Um, so Peter Pan tells them they can fly, but they can't. But he says, "Oh no, you need some pixie dust. That's why." And he grabs Tinkerbell against their wishes and shakes them over
yeah,
the kids so they can
turns
all
into like a
fly.
rattle. It's kind of
Yeah, and
funny.
then they're flying off, but Michael sees Nana in the garden barking, and says, "Poor Nana," and he grabs Tinkerbell and shakes her on the dog. So the
Yeah, she
dog
doesn't have
actually
a
does
good
fly
fight.
out.
Tinkerbell does not have a good time in this the
No,
early part of this film.
no, she's quite angry, and it seems justified, frankly.
Yeah,
Anyway, they're flying in, and Hook sees them, and he takes a shot with a cannon. So Peter says, "You got to go to the Lost Boys," while he
yeah,
messes with them, basically. Now Tinkerbell goes ahead, really annoyed about this Peter.
yeah. She speeds
Peter
up
obsessed.
faster than
Yeah,
they
and
can keep
like,
up with.
can let go slower, Tinkerbell. We can't. And basically, she says that Peter wants them to shoot them down. So
Well,
they
she says she Peter wants them to shoot down the Wendy bird.
The Wendy bird.
Yeah,
So they do fire everything at Wendy, so she gets disoriented and falls to the ground.
crashes.
When
Yeah,
Peter gets back and finds out this, he's quite annoyed. And he says, "You're banished forever." And Wendy's like, "No, you can't do that."
yeah. And
And
he
he's
he
like,
just
"Oh,
goes,
for a week,
okay, a week then.
a week."
Just like,
But
okay, yeah,
I
sure.
suspect Wendy chipping in for Tinkerbell make Tinkerbell even angrier. I
Yeah,
suspect.
definitely.
Yeah. So then they start messing around with the Lost Boys. And
Yeah,
there's an interesting sort of little story, which I don't think is. I think it's probably more explored in in the actual written story and the play, which is John and Michael start forgetting their mother. And Wendy
yeah.
keeps trying
That
to
starts
remind
to
them.
happen like later on in
Yeah, I'm
this.
just saying that's
But
an
yeah,
interesting point when that because they're all in with the Lost Boys who decide they're
yeah.
going to fight the native. What's the word? They call them Aboriginals.
Well,
We've already
they
mentioned they
call them
call
a
them.
few names, a few different
Yeah,
names.
let's call them the native. Is that all
Michael
right?
refers to them as Aboriginals several times.
Yes.
Generally, they're referred to as the Indians.
Indians and
Yeah,
sometimes
sometimes
Redskins.
the Braves.
Yes.
Uh,
Anyway, well, if we use the word natives, is that all right? We'll
yeah,
use the other term when it's relevant to the words being said or songs or whatever. But
yeah,
um, they said they're going to go fight the island's natives.
mm.
And
And they
and
sing a little song about it.
yeah, we're following the leader. All right.
Yeah,
And John's been nominated as the leader, so he starts to make plans and he starts to describe. They're not intelligent, but they are cunning. And he
yeah,
starts talking about how to surround them. And it is funny that as he's going through this plan
yeah,
of these people that are supposed to not be intelligent, they're actually doing the plan he's describing right around them,
yeah,
dressed as trees, right? So that's kind of
yeah.
funny. I
As
quite
bad as
like.
their portrayals are, there are some moments that do point to them, like some good representation.
Yeah,
But
and some
overall, it's like,
dignity, right? And
yeah,
some dignity. That's the best that
yeah,
you can say, right?
yeah,
However, there's obviously issues.
yeah,
Um, and they get captured, but the Lost Boys go, "Oh, can you set us free now?" And then it
yeah.
turns out that they often play this.
Yeah, they've got like a
It's a
war
game.
game going on.
Sometimes the natives win, and sometimes the Lost Boys win, but they also all just let each other go at the end of it. But
Mm.
the chief is like, "No, not
No.
this time. You've got Tiger Lily. I'm mad. Where's
Yeah.
Tiger Lily?" The Lost Boys are a bit perplexed by this because they haven't got Tiger Lily.
Mm.
in the interim, Peter Pan does take Wendy to see the mermaids because she kind of likes
Yeah.
mermaids, and I really like the fact the mermaids are kind of murderous in this.
Yes, they're
They're all
very sort of
animated like lovely creatures and that, a bit Fantasia, but they're
yeah,
murderous. They're just murderous. We only wanted to
yeah,
drown her,
yeah,
things like that. So and Wendy's like, well, what's going on? But then Hook arrives, and
with
the
Tiger
mermaids
Lily.
with
Yeah,
Tiger Lily, and the mermaids are off. They're frightened of that.
yeah,
Basically, they captured Tiger. Sorry, Hook has captured Tiger Lily, the daughter of the chief of the natives,
mm,
and they're rowing out to some remote place. And basically, for some reason, he thinks she knows where Peter Pan's based, right? And he's
yeah,
saying, "Tell us." Basically, it's quite nasty. They're in water, and he ties her to an anchor, and he says, "The tide's coming in. You better tell me."
mm.
So
And this
that,
is after he's mused a few different horrible like things
yeah,
to do to her.
so
He's
it's,
like, no,
yeah,
should I just like boil her in oil? I don't know. Maybe we should keel haul her, which is
yeah, and, uh,
horrendous if you know what that
yeah,
is.
yeah. And
But
I've forgotten there was one comedy scene where Hook is kind of terrified of the crocodile, and the crocodile's hanging around and like really happy and just watching what's going on, and sort
mm,
of anticipating Hook maybe coming in the water. Um,
yeah,
but Smee calms him down and says, "Let's give you a shave." But somehow comedy shave
yeah.
turns into he shaves the backside of a seagull
Yeah,
instead
he
of the
like
cat's head.
wraps a hot towel all round his head instead of
Yeah,
just like round his neck,
yeah.
and then a seagull
That's-
lands on top.
and he shaves
So
its bottom by mistake.
yeah,
That's
and
kind of
then the
fun.
seagull flies away without him knowing, and there's a bit where
He
Smee
thinks
is
it's
looking for the captain's
captain's
head.
head, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So though that's and then Hook goes off, but Peter Pan imitates Hook, saying "Smee, let her go" and all this. So Smee
yeah,
starts to, oh, say that's very sensible, Captain. Smee doesn't really want to kill her or anything. He just,
yeah.
I mean, he does what the captain tells him, but he doesn't really want to. So he's going,
Mm,
okay. And as he starts to take her back, Hook actually sees, Mr. Smee, what there's that comedy, the comedy
mm,
of disorientation when someone's. But Peter uses his hat to create like an echoey, booming voice, doesn't he? He sounds
yeah,
exactly like Captain Hook, right? Um, and in the end, they Hook and Peter Pan have a fight, don't they? They start.
mm,
Now Hook's got this great big sword and a hook, obviously,
yeah,
and Peter Pan's just got a little knife, but he does because he can fly, he can outmaneuver him and all sorts, right? Tiger Lily either doesn't know or doesn't tell where Peter Pan's hideout is. So,
yeah. Her only word in this entire film is help when the water gets a bit too high.
yes, yes. When as her face is just going under the water, right?
Mm.
Peter's too concerned with having fun, annoying Hook. When Wendy reminds him, Peter, Tiger Lily,
Yeah,
which means that she gets rescued just in time. So that's good.
yeah,
Um, so when Peter returns Tiger Lily to the tribe, the chief is happy, so
yeah,
happy, he makes Peter an honorary chief and
yeah,
calls him Little Eagle, Little
yeah.
Great Eagle or
Chief,
something.
Great Chief Flying Eagle.
Right. Little Flying Eagle or something like that.
Yeah,
And they do things that are parodies of you wouldn't
yeah.
do now, but things that
They
the
have a
kids
bunch
do
of
when they see
fairly
Cowboy in
racist,
India.
like just so stories. The only like not horrendous one is when they explain why they say how,
Yeah.
which is a bad stereotype in and of itself. But
Yeah.
they'd say it's that they just have a tendency towards a natural curiosity, which is like, oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's all right.
but
And it's
otherwise, it's
but
like they kissed someone
it's
and blushed, and that's why their skin is that color.
red,
And it's like, ugh.
yeah, and stuff like that. And yeah, there's a whole amalgam of lots
Yeah,
of different Native American nations in one boiled down stereotype.
mm,
Is what we're seeing
it's
here.
not good.
Yeah.
So,
Um, but they are honor Peter for rescuing Tiger Lily, and Tiger
mm,
Lily actually does dance in front of Peter, and she even puts her face to his and rubs noses which again is a stereotype thing. But when this makes Wendy kind of, there's a lot of jealousy in this. It does make me laugh, but Peter's totally oblivious to it. But there's Tinkerbell and there's Wendy, and the girls are jealous, right? Is basically what's going on. Meanwhile, Hook is like, what are we gonna do here? We're never. I need to get. And Smee just mentions, oh yeah, apparently, Peter
Tinkerbell's been
exiled because she was annoyed about Wendy. Because they know about Wendy, and it's like, and the Hook's like, suddenly Hutch's planning, get Tinkerbell, bring her here. And indeed, we do see Tinkerbell sitting watching the celebrations from afar, sitting on a leaf, and Smee grabs her in his hat and takes her out. Takes the Hook. Now Hook throws on all the charm. He puts on a gold hook, puts a diamond ring or an emerald ring on it, and he's playing the piano. Really, really fun. This was. He's playing the piano, and you can even see the Hook hitting the keys. They actually animate that, so he's going do 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 do. You know, that back and forth.
I wonder how accurate the movements were.
No idea.
Like sometimes I've seen like a trend of people playing songs that as the characters in the animation play them. Usually it's just a cacophony of sound. But sometimes they are accurate.
But what he's saying is, we are leaving. You can tell Peter we've he wins. We're leaving for the sort of Spanish Main in the morning. But it sounds like all the woes are down to Wendy, which really fires up Tinkerbell. She's really cross. Said, all we have to do is go grab Wendy and we can take her with us and all your troubles will be over. And starts dragging Smee. Come on, Smee, let's go do it. And Smee's like, but we don't know where Peter Pan's based. And that, Tinkerbell's
don't.
Really, she's basically runs forward and says, I could, show you. And it's done in a really clever way. She jumps into a pot of ink, so her feet are got ink on, and she starts stepping across the map to give them the treasure map. Instead of just going to the place, it's like 3 steps, hop on a skip from here to Cannibal Cove to all this. And just before she gets to the actual location, she suddenly goes, got a promise by gestures, and Hook explains, you want me to promise not to hurt Peter? And not use my hook and things like that. And he promises. He goes, oh, would I? All this. And she tells him where Peter is, and he immediately throws her into a lantern and locks it. Right, so she's in a lantern. So she knows she's been duped. Right?
Yeah.
When the I said earlier, the boys are kind of forgetting their mother. When he says, no, I'm not your mother. Yeah. Because they keep going about, could you be our mother? And they actually even ask her, what's a mother? Will you be our mother? And she sings a song about a mother, our mother, and all that. But they're all kind of, some are happy, but some are a bit sad. And I think the pirates seem more affected than anything. They're creeping up on the place.
The pirates are sneaking up to the place.
Yeah,
and
but
they are very much
Peter's not there, is he? Peter's not there.
Yeah. I know. I know there's like a thing going around of the pirates are just aged out lost boys, essentially. Like that
explains a lot, theory. Actually, yes.
So like Peter gets them, and when they age up from being lost, get too old to be a lost boy, he kicks them out, and they join the pirates.
Yeah, and I did laugh because Smee, while listening to the song, Smee actually lifts his shirt up and he's got a tattoo saying "mother," and he's looking really sad. Anyway, they capture them all and take them back. To the
all the lost boys say they're like we want to go back, and Wendy, John, and Michael are all set to go, and Peter basically kind of kicks them out. He's like, "Yeah, go on, just leave."
Yeah, yeah. Also, because they've captured him, but Peter wasn't there. They've left him basically a present from Wendy, which is a time bomb, essentially.
Yes,
time bomb with pirates, right? Okay.
It's like a clock linked up to like a flintlock fuse.
Yes,
to a comedy like spherical grenade.
Yes. So Peter's does wait, and he's saying, "Well, there's only 12 seconds there. I'll open it." However, in the meantime, Tinkerbell knows the plot, managed to get out. I've forgotten how she got out. How did she get out? She just rock it.
She rocked
Yeah.
the like lantern that she was in.
And then whizzes towards Peter and tries to warn
Yeah,
him, but he's not really listening. And um,
she's able to
meanwhile,
get the
Hook
bomb
is
out of his.
telling Wendy and the boys and the Lost Boys all about, oh, we left him a little present, and you hear the explosion, and it even rocks the ship a bit, right?
Yeah, it rocks everything. They show the island, and it's like
Yeah, it's a big.
from the blast. It looks like it should have reduced the island to a crater, a
Yeah.
whole island.
Also, it appears to go off right in front of Peter, so we don't know what's
Yes,
happened. Um, but no.
and they do a weird. They very quickly show Peter shortly afterwards, sort of digging himself
Drinking
out
in
of
front
the
of
rubble.
rubble and finding Tink and stuff
Finding
like that.
Tink, but they don't show Tink directly, which like kind of implies something horrendous happened to her, and
Yes,
she
yes,
recovered between shots.
yes. Um, so Hook was like, "You could join my crew, or you'll walk the plank." And Wendy's like, "No,
Yeah,
I'm not walking the bank." Um, sorry, I'm not joining the crew. So they start to make Wendy, this 10, 12-year-old girl, walk the plank.
yeah.
All these surly pirates. Um, so she walks and she jumps, and they're all like waiting for a
Oh,
splash. And they come
no
in
splash, Captain.
and immediately the pirates go, "The ship's cursed," and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But what we
that's
see is
it's,
Peter and Wendy sort of being
yeah,
quiet in like on the side of
yeah,
the ship. He's got her
yeah.
in time.
And Hook kills another pirate.
Oh
Like,
yeah, one says, "I didn't
what's-
hear a splash." You go, "Oh, you want a splash, do you?" Yeah,
yeah, and he just chucks him overboard. Where the
yeah,
crocodile is, to be clear, because the
yes.
crocodile's always there.
The
So
crocodile loves it. In fact,
yeah,
you see him joyously tapping
yeah,
the water when their songs are played and all sorts. Right? He just
yeah,
he loves being around the pirate ship.
yeah,
And I like how Smee goes shoo shoo. You know,
yeah. Treats it like a mild annoyance while the captain's having a
a
panic
dog or
attack.
something. Yeah,
So
yeah, that is funny.
yeah,
Um,
there's a pretty great line where Peter reveals himself, and I think it's Smee shouts, "It's a ghost," and Hook shouts, "Well, I'll show you. I'll make this ghost bleed," and draws his
yes,
sword. It's like, whoa,
massive sword too.
yeah,
Peter kind of rescues them and they start fighting.
yeah.
Hook is like,
It's a
"Fight
massive
me like
brawl
a man."
between.
Yeah. And he keeps with it and goes, "Fight me properly. Don't fly. That's a coward's way."
Mm,
Peter promises he's not going to fly during the fight. And when he's going, "No, don't say it's a trick." But he swears because he's like an id monster. He's just spur of the
yeah,
moment decisions, and stuff like that.
that's all he
Um,
does.
and they fight, but he manages to and it was kind of very, Hook's about to skewer him, and he pulls a flag
Yeah,
over his head and sort of wraps him up in it. And he promises but Peter doesn't kill him. He just promises
mm,
he's gonna just leave.
leave. Yeah.
And while Peter's celebrating, Hook's like all sneak, does the
Yeah, he
sneaks.
goes to attack him,
Yeah.
and he gets knocked back into the water where the
With the
crocodile is
crocodile
waiting because the
who's got his
crocodile's
tongue
always there.
hanging out
Yeah,
and loving it, right?
he's
Um,
so happy about all this.
Yeah, so we see a comedy bit where he's doing shenanigans with the crocodile. Like you already mentioned, he's so
Mhm.
panicked he runs across the water and runs straight into the crocodile's mouth to the end of his tail. It's hook-shaped tail, and runs out again holding the clock.
Mm.
Meanwhile, Smee and the other pirates are rowing away, and they're going, "Captain." Um, and the last we see of Hook and the pirates, they're just rowing into the horizon with the crocodile
Yeah,
chasing them, right?
with so the pirates are rowing, chasing the crocodile
Captain's
who's
running or
chasing.
swimming or
No,
something.
the crocodile's tried to bite him, and his legs have caused him to get like fired forwards, so he's skipping across the water.
Yes, it's like a stone, right?
Yeah.
Peter then puts on a load of pirate gear and they commandeer the ship and pretend to be
Mm.
pirates. and with Tinker's pixie dust, they fly the ship to London. Basically, where are we going, Peter? And it's like, to London. And we get some really nice shots of London, animated London, don't we, when they're flying
Yeah,
over it.
transitioning
Which
between stuff.
they do a similar thing in Mary Poppins, don't they? I mean, that's really live action, but they do some similar shots in Mary Poppins that are really cool as well. So basically, he's returning them home, and then
They kind of frame it as a Wizard of Oz sort of situation, where like the George and Mrs. Darling come home and they find Wendy asleep at the window, and
yeah,
she wakes up then.
I've
And
had the
goes,
most
"Oh,
wonderful adventure. And
yeah,
George also kind of related. Maybe I was a bit harsh,
yeah,
I didn't really mean what I said. He's a nice fella.
yeah,
But then they see a cloud that is pirate ship shaped, right?
yeah,
Go across the moon. And Jules says, I know that ship. I think I saw it when I was very young, implying he's had
yeah,
adventures in Neverland, right?
yeah."
As does the mother. So it's got a nice circularity.
Mm,
Yeah. So I mean, this film moves. It really
yeah,
does. There's no
very
slow
breakneck.
bits, and it's so joyful. It's so
Mm,
joyful. It's got its issues with the sort of natives,
yeah.
which is
Though I'm
problematic.
looking it up, apparently Tiger Lily's quite popular in a sort of Speedy Gonzales kind of way. Tiger
So it's
Lily is
really,
quite popular with Native Americans. Hmm.
well, she's got no actual. There's nothing wrong with Tiger Lily as a character. She doesn't do any.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the
apart from the
counterpoint. She
dance,
doesn't really
maybe.
do anything to be offensive as
No,
such.
but
She's in
you hear
the
this
song, but
sometimes. You hear like this. I mean, for example, Whoopi Goldberg often talks. I like the crows in Dumbo. I want to see them more. Why aren't they
mm,
on more Disney stuff? They're
mm,
great, So there is that.
yeah,
So that's the only way you're represented. Perhaps that's
yeah,
something to try and turn a positive on. It's a bit like flip the script, or taking
yeah,
control of the narrative kind of thing. So yeah, and it is a very joyful. I find it quite a joyful scene. That I know there's problematic elements, but it is colourful and fun. Um, and I kind of get why it's got a different rating in the US as to anywhere else in the world. That
yeah.
kind of makes more sense to me. But yeah, I really, really, I enjoyed this film way more than I thought I would, and I thought I'd enjoy it quite a lot. That's
Yeah.
so yeah. The only thing, like I say, is I really thought that Never Smile at Crocodile was in it somewhere. No, but
Yeah,
the
the
song is
tune.
really well represented, though. It's so
Yeah,
distinctive and
the
fun.
tune is in there several times. So yeah.
For fun. So this was a good time, really,
Mm,
all the way around.
yeah.
Any final thoughts on this?
Not really. Have you ever seen the sequel?
No, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't be adverse to doing it when we come to it. Though I'm
Mm.
not keen on doing all the sequels.
Yeah, I can
Um,
imagine.
but I wouldn't be adverse. It's an animated sequel,
Yeah,
right?
it's an
So
animated one. Moves this sort of timeline up to instead of Wendy meeting Peter again, it's Wendy's daughter,
right,
Jane,
okay, right.
who I gather is still like an actual character in the play or something like that.
Well,
Like
maybe
they
they did
introduced the
that
next
kind of
generation. Yeah.
refrain in the play. It's possible, right? It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right. Yeah, this was just a good film. I've got not much more to say. I mean, all right, let's get to rating. What would you rate this?
Mm.
How would you rate
I'd
this?
rate this easily 8 or 9,
Yeah, I'll give it a
actually.
9. Give it a 9 out of 10.
Mm.
I really, really enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. And I'm really, I'm a fanboy of this era of Disney. I really
Mm.
liked Alice in Wonderland. I really like this. It's hard to rate. I think I have a slight preference to Alice in Wonderland because it's so wonderful, right? But Peter Pan is also
Yeah.
really wonderful, really wonderful. Yeah, right. So yeah. All right, shall we wind out there? So next Disney we're gonna cover is Lady and the Tramp.
Mm.
That's an interesting one too. And there's some more distinctive numbers in that as well. There's always
Yeah.
a distinctive number in a Disney though for this era, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's the thing. All right, so let's wind up there. So bye from me.
Bye.